What's going on, guys? Spen Harris here with Fireside Nets. Some huge news in the Brooklyn Nets world today. LaMarcus Aldridge, after just a few games with the Nets, has announced his retirement. He wrote a lengthy letter that I will now read to you guys. Here's the letter. Today I write this letter with a heavy heart. My last game I played while dealing with an irregular heartbeat. Later on that night, my rhythm got even worse, which really worried me even more. The next morning, I told the team what was going on, and they were great getting me to the hospital and getting me checked out. Though I'm better now, what I felt with my heart that night was one of the scariest things I've experienced. With that being said, I've made the difficult decision to retire from the NBA. For 15 years, I've put basketball first. Now it's time to put my health and my family first. I'm thankful for everything this game has given me, the great memories, including all the ups and downs, and the friendships I've made and will keep with me forever. I thank Portland for drafting a skinny Texas kid and giving him a chance. The city of Portland has given me some unforgettable years. They will always remain in my heart. I want to thank the Spurs for letting me into the family and giving me 5 fun years. Last but not least, I want to thank Brooklyn. You wanted me for me. In a game that's changing so much, you asked me to come and just do what I do, which was good to hear. I'm sorry it didn't get to last long, but I've definitely had fun being a part of this special group. You never know when something will come to an end, so make sure you enjoy it every day. I can truly say I did just that. Signed, LaMarcus Aldridge. All right, so I wanted to come on here and do a Brooklyn Nets injury report today. Obviously, with this news, I'm going to start with this, and then we can get into the injury report. But holy hell, what an unbelievable change of circumstances. So prayers to LaMarcus Aldridge. Nobody should have to deal with that type of scare and then have to go back to a job that consists of your heart beating differently, right? When I played soccer, we used to do these change of speed drills where we'd sprint and then walk and then sprint and then walk. And the point of that is to kind of get your heart pumping differently. You know, you want to get your blood flowing. You want to be able to kind of get that. As an athlete, you need your heart to pump a certain way. And the fact that he felt this irregular heartbeat in his chest, my father has dealt with that. It's scary. If you don't have to deal with that, you shouldn't. So completely and fully understand why LaMarcus Aldridge decided to call it quits only after a few games with the Brooklyn Nets. Health comes first before anything. Just ask Kevin Durant. Just ask any of the players in the Brooklyn Nets. James Harden, Kyrie Irving, go down the list. Moving forward, changes a lot of things with this Brooklyn Nets team. For starters, you now have to reinsert DeAndre Jordan back into the lineup. We saw how he looked against Philly. We know the ups and downs that he can bring. Obviously, you get the cool alley-oops. You get 8 to 10 rebounds a game. You're getting a defensive presence down low, but you're also getting an older, less agile DeAndre Jordan. You're getting a DJ who makes a lot of mistakes on offense, a lot of mistakes on defense. Someone who, like Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot, has been in the Nets doghouse for most of the year. The Nets fans' doghouse, I should say. You still have Nick Claxton, who has proven that he can be a defensive anchor when called upon. Offensively, he's still raw, but he can do enough where with the Kevin Durant, the James Harden, the Kyrie Irving, Joe Harris, Blake Griffin, as long as you're able to distribute the minutes between DeAndre Jordan and Nick Claxton, and I would say Claxton should be seeing more minutes. He's younger. He's a lot more effective. He does a lot better when he's on the court than DeAndre Jordan does. Just a lot better things in regards to the defense, the offense, the energy he brings. This doesn't end the championship hopes, but this is a major blow. LaMarcus Aldridge was the most sound player on offense in regards to a post-up game for the Brooklyn Nets. He could hit that mid-range shot. You saw he had added that three-point shot to his repertoire. He was really coming into his own, and he had some great games with Brooklyn in his limited time. I think that Lakers game was the only game where he really did not look great. Other than that, he looked really good, and he fit. That was the biggest thing. He fit like a glove in that Brooklyn Nets offense. So his presence will be missed. Nets fans will be really missing LaMarcus Aldridge when they see DeAndre Jordan miss some atrocious post-up shot, or Nick Claxton clanks a mid-range jumper off the side of the rim. Aldridge gave us a legitimate post-up threat that we did not have before, and, you know, he'll be missed. But we got to move on. The season goes on. We still have a great team, a top 3 team in the East. In my opinion, number 1 team in the East. We still have guys like Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden coming back from injury. So I wanted to get to the rest of this Brooklyn Nets roster and give you guys an updated injury report on a few of these guys who the Nets do expect to come back before the playoffs. So for those who are wondering why Kevin Durant didn't play against the Sixers last night in that loss against Philly, and by the way, Philadelphia has now taken sole possession of the number 1 seed. They are 38-17. They lead the series against Brooklyn 2-1. The Nets are 37-18. So 1 full game behind with about 16 or 17 games left. The Nets could easily catch them, but right now, Philly's in the driver's seat. So Kevin Durant did not play last night because he played against the Timberwolves on Tuesday. And Steve Nash does not want to play Kevin Durant in these back-to-back situations. You understand why. This guy's just ramping up after after dealing with a hamstring injury for the last few months. You don't want to rush him back. You don't want to play him back-to-back days. Being healthy and getting our guys ready for the playoffs is a lot more important than getting the 1 seed. Would the 1 seed be great? Would Nets fans go nuts over getting the 1 seed? Absolutely. Is that what the players want? 100%. But the players, the organization, the fans also understand, they have to understand that health comes first. You'd rather take the 2 seed with a fully healthy team than get the 1 seed with a bunch of banged up guys. So, is what it is. We did not have Kevin Durant Wednesday. We will most likely have him Friday against Charlotte. He, for all intents and purposes, he is healthy. He's just continuing this ramp-up process. Barring any setbacks, he should be good to go, unless we have a back-to-back situation. In that case, Nash will probably do the same thing he did and rest him on that second game. James Harden is still dealing with a hamstring issue. We're awaiting results in regards to an update on when he'll be back. He did come back in that game against the Knicks last week, but immediately felt something up with his hamstring, told Nash to get him out of there. The MRI came back clean. I mean, I think structurally there's nothing that looks wrong with Harden's hamstring, but obviously he feels something, so they're continuing to monitor that situation. We don't know when he's going to come back. We're hoping it's before the playoffs. It could be next week. It could be the following week. It could be a few games before the playoffs. Right now, Harden's status is up in the air, and we'll know more in the next few days. Blake Griffin did not play Wednesday. He's still dealing with that knee issue. But a lot of that is more along the lines of the Kevin Durant. They're trying to ramp up Griffin's minutes. They don't want to put too much on him. Griffin's not a spring chicken. I mean, he's in his early 30s, I believe, but he's got a lot of wear and tear on him during his years in the NBA of just dunking and jumping on everybody. So they're going to work him back. They don't want to give him too many minutes. I understand why they didn't play him Wednesday. I think Griffin should be good to go on Friday along with Kevin Durant. The other injuries on this team, Chris Chioza broke his hand, I believe, against the Timberwolves on Tuesday. So he had surgery, successful surgery, but he's likely done for the rest of the year. He probably won't be back for a long, long time, possibly towards the end of the playoffs. I'm not sure. But at the same time, he was always that insurance guard on the team. As long as you have Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and Landry Shamet, you don't necessarily need to give Chioza minutes. So in regards to the Nets' first and second units come playoff time, it's not the end of the world that we don't have Chioza. I do wish him, obviously, a speedy recovery and everything, but he is likely out. I read a report that, with the surgery he had on his hand, he is not playing anytime soon. Tyler Johnson is another guy. We haven't really heard a ton of updates on his knee injury. I think structurally, after that went down about a week or two ago, everything looked okay. I think it was a sprain or a strain, something that wasn't too serious in his knee, but that will also be monitored. So we'll have more of an update, like on the James Harden news, on the Tyler Johnson news in the next few days. Outside of all of those guys, I believe Spencer Dinwiddie is the only other guy on the Nets injury report as of late. He's really progressing. He was ahead of schedule in his ACL rehabilitation. So there is a chance, a small chance, that we may be able to see Spencer Dinwiddie on this Brooklyn Nets team in a Nets jersey come playoff time. That would be huge. Talk about insurance. If you're able to bring Spencer Dinwiddie off the bench and put him in a lineup with Harden or Irving or Shamet, and you have Tyler Johnson and Bruce Brown in there, you have a good amount of formidable guards. That's what we're missing right now. We're missing point guards. I mean, Bruce Brown and Shamet are great. Respectively, they're not point guards. So I'm excited to see, what the Nets are able to do in the last 17 games. They're going to start to get a lot of guys back from injury. Obviously, no LaMarcus Aldridge. He's retired. Choyoza likely out for the rest of the season. But Blake Griffin, James Harden, Kevin Durant, Tyler Johnson, and Spencer Dinwiddie, those last two guys I'm not sure of, and Harden, we should all see at least 4 or 5 of those guys back come playoffs. So that's my Brooklyn Nets injury update. And I just want to give a quick shout out to 2 guys on this Nets team. DeAndre Jordan was basically stripped of his starting role when LaMarcus Aldridge entered the picture. And while a lot of guys would sit there, pout, what the hell, that was my position, how could they sign this guy off the street and give him my minutes? DeAndre Jordan didn't do that. He stayed ready, and yesterday he was called upon to start against the Sixers. He looked pretty good. I think he started against the T-Wolves too. Oh, no, Claxton started against the T-Wolves. But Jordan looked great. It was his first time starting in a few weeks. I think he put up a double-double. I think he had 14 rebounds, 12 points, 14 rebounds, something along those lines. But he stayed ready. And it's great to see a player like that who's bought in, who got his job taken away from him, who comes back even stronger. And the other guy I want to give a shout-out to is Jeff Green. With all these guys getting load management, taking rests, Blake Griffin recovering from that knee, Kevin Durant recovering from the hammy, LaMarcus Aldridge before he retired, obviously he wasn't playing every night. Jeff Green has been the Iron Man for this Nets ball club. Every single opportunity, every single game he's played, he's showed up, he's been aggressive, he's hit his shots, he can still dunk with the best of them in the league, he makes smart plays, and he plays great defense. He hit the game-winning free throws the other night against the Knicks. Jeff Green has been the unsung hero of this Nets ball club. So I just want to give Jeff Green and DeAndre Jordan some props. That does it for my reaction to the LaMarcus Aldridge retirement, to my Brooklyn Nets injury update. Thanks for listening. Again, this is Spen Harris, host of the Fireside Nets podcast, curator of Fireside Nets on Twitter, and we are brought to you by Empire Sports Media. Check them out. That does it. Thanks for listening, guys.